All right. I think I have audio now. Better? I think it's better. Okay. I think we're fixed. Sorry about that. So what's up? So I realized, like, as I was starting this stream, that I'm kind of going um, head to head with Jay and Jerry's stream, and that might not be the best idea for viewership. Um, but I figured since I said I was going to do it, I would do it anyway. And if we don't get a lot of people in here, then that's just the way it goes. And you guys get some personal attention from me, which is why I know you're all here, I guess. Um, so, in any event, so I had a little bit of audio issues. I don't know what happened there. It looks like my mic got all out of sync with OBS. Everything's good now, though. I think it looks like it's good now. Let me know if it's good. But there are just like a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today, and then it was just kind of like free reign. You guys could ask me what you want, and I will do my best to answer them, and then we'll kind of go from there. I guess. I'm not sure how long this is gonna go, just because, like I said, we might have a limited audience, but I'll keep hanging out with you guys as long as the interaction is there, as long as you guys keep wanting to talk to me and have questions and whatever else is going on. So anyway, so what I wanted to talk about was there were a couple things. I know that there were I guess there were a good amount of questions last stream about Project Baron, and I tried to answer them all, and I think I answered them all. But if I didn't answer your question about that project, I'd be more than happy to discuss the ins and outs of that. Another thing that I've been getting just an overwhelming amount of questions and comments on is the video I did that I released on Monday about the Cooler Master coolers, and the video called um, "Please Stop this bleep, please." Um, it got a little controversial, I guess, and people had some pretty mixed opinions on it. And I wanted to maybe clarify a few things because I know there were a lot of questions and comments that people had. People making insinuations that and assumptions that are just not accurate. Unfortunately, I guess maybe people who don't really know the ins and outs of this industry. And yeah, Ready Player One, the rant video. So I did want to talk about that a little bit, and how that video, how it went over with Cooler Master, and with the audience. And then I did want to talk briefly about the video that I put up today, the white build, for April's monthly build. Um, David, oh, a super chat came in from David Warkington. Warkington? I think I got that. What's up, Brian? Great work on the white build. Thank you very much. I did want to get into that in a little more detail, because that project was a little more, I don't know, a little more involved than I anticipated it being, just because sourcing those parts was pretty difficult. So why don't I talk about that first? So, and feel free, guys, to chime in and ask me questions along the way or comment or whatever you got to do. So that build, I had the idea for doing a white build. I mean, I'm not the first channel to do a white build. There's been plenty of them. I mean, I got a comment on Facebook from Stu Tonks of GGF Events saying that he's the only one allowed to do white build. I got a comment from Greg Salazar saying that he's the only one allowed to do white builds. So a lot of people do them. I know Kyle's done one in the past as well. But despite the fact that they are fairly popular, it seemed to be a concept that a lot of people like. There's not a lot of hardware to put it together in such a way to make it really really pop, really stand out, really be as white as it could be. Because with an all white enclosure and all white components, you actually Give yourself a lot of flexibility as far as lighting, because you don't need as much lighting. And you can, if you decide to add like some kind of a rainbowy RGB element, it really like bounces around inside the case and really makes it stand out. So I actually don't know why there's not more of a push for all white components. But the parts that I had the most difficulty finding were the was the AIO, which was one of the only ones that I could find that was white. And then the case, you know, there are white cases out there, but they all have some black on them, unfortunately, and that's kind of just the way it is. Now the AIO, probably the single most commented, the single most popular comment on that video was, "Why don't you use Cable Mod's why don't you use Cable Mod's AIO sleeving kit and make the AIO, the tubes white?" And I did reach out to Cable Mod, because Joey with NSource, who I think is in here, I think I saw him earlier. Yes, NSource Joey. Hey Brian. Hey Joey. He's I don't know. He's amazing. He'll, if I need something, he he gets it out real quick. And I mean, as you guys can see, the quality is just like, off the charts. It's like second to none. So he got me over those white cables, but he obviously doesn't do AIO sleeving, and I know Cable Mod does. So I reached out to them, and I have a good relationship with Cable Mod. Actually, they sponsored my CES content, and they apparently they were unable to get me what I asked for, which I don't know if I'm spoiled or not, but I was surprised by that. Maybe they just didn't have the marketing budget. Whatever the case was, I'm not privy to their internals, but they couldn't get me those sleeves. So that's why you saw black sleeves on that AIO. But that was literally the thing that people kind of really focused on with that build, and people really wanted to comment on and let me know that Cable Mod makes white AIO sleeves. I know that, but I actually think the build came out looking really, really good as it was. And I was really happy with it. I think you guys have been happy with it too. The viewership has been pretty strong, and a lot of comments and interaction, and which is what you really like to see on videos. So let me scroll back up. Manic Geeks here. Yo, what's up, Mike? Let's see who else is in here. Ready Player One, being my my moderator as always. Thank you very much, sir. Shadowband, Brian LaFave, Jeff M, Fabulous, Tahian Dragon Knight. After that, Frank Falls, Guido Salducci. So got some people in here hanging out, and I am definitely thankful for that. Thanks for spending your Thursday evening with me. So did you guys have any other questions about the white build? I mean, of course, about really anything, but that's kind of what I was trying to cover right now, was about that white build, the one that just came out today. And before we get into like that whole Cool Master video in a minute, just let me know. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me scroll back up and let me see what people are talking about. All right, so Fabulous. Rajasthan. Nope, that's definitely not right. Rajasthan. Love from India, and I am also a tech YouTuber. Support me. All right, I support you, sir. So Tan Dragon Knight says, "Hey, do you know when the Lian Li Bora fans will release both versions?" I don't know specifically. The Bora fans are out. They're just sold out everywhere. So I actually had asked Lian Li to send me some, and they couldn't because they didn't have any. But those are out. You just kind of have to find them. As far as both versions, I assume you mean like the aluminum and like the cheaper version. I don't know about the cheaper version, but I know the Bora aluminum, like the raw aluminum ones, those are out. Okay, Jeff M says, "Figured I'd catch the VOD from Tech Talk anyway." Yeah, well, mine will be up later too if you wanted to watch them. I don't, everybody supports everybody here, so go watch Jay if you want to watch Jay. But if you're here, you should just stick around. Okay. After that says, I have no idea what he says. More of WAN Pro. Let's drink more and more. Great. All right. That makes no sense. Frank Falls. Hi, Brian. Do you need a graphics card for PUBG and Fortnite if you already have Ryzen AMD? I mean, I suppose it depends which Ryzen AMD you have. The majority of Ryzen chips do not have an integrated GPU. So, yes, you would need one. Unless you have one of the APUs, which is the 2200 and 2400G. Super chat. Thank you so much, Guido Salducci. I know you said that there were issues with black on AIO or cases, but have you considered spraying so you can use the components that you want? So I actually try to avoid spray painting components because I need them in the future for like comparison videos, and I use them multiple times in multiple builds sometimes, so I can't necessarily have something. So if I would do like a yellow build or something like that, and I wanted a yellow whatever fan graphics card memory, and I spray painted it would kind of ruin it for, you know, whatever I needed to use it for again. So I actually try to not do that. The only thing that I've ever actually really modified heavily was the case, that the 570X that you guys saw in that video, which I had powder coated white, because I think that I wanted the white for that project. That, you know, it was a pretty big water cooling project, and I knew that having a white case would be functional for me in the future. And, you know, it's not like it made it look like it was spray painted. It looks just like a white version of that case. And I hope that that's what came across on the video, because I wanted it to look professional. And a lot of people were actually asking me about the PSU shroud, because that's not how that normally comes. You normally have it's just kind of open on the bottom, but that I had that I fabbed that piece, and then I had them powder coat it white. So, and then I riveted it in place. And I talked about that on that project from last year. So that was a custom piece too. But I know that now, I think the 570Xs, they got so much feedback on that the 570Xs come with that same or a very similar PSU shroud cover. Okay, going back up. All right. Ready Player One loves the Ensource Joey cables. When new GPUs drop, I need to order. Yeah, hit him up. I'm actually, we're gonna be trying to put together a video about like how to spruce up your build, you know. And so I'm gonna be featuring like a bunch of his cables and stuff on that. And ooh, there's a bug. Nope, didn't get it. But so, you know, you might get a better idea of like what kind of stuff he can offer, because I'll probably be like going through like his website and the ordering process and stuff too. But yeah, definitely if you need cables, hit up Ensourced. Brian Lefebvre says, should I pull the trigger on a 1070 FE for $400 at my local Best Buy? Do you need a 1070? Then buy it. That's the MSRP on that card. So that seems reasonable to me. If they have them and you need it, buy it. Frank Falls, no. I'm just asking Guido because I'm doing a new... I'm not sure what... Sorry. I didn't follow that conversation. LV Fatters says, hello from Latvia. Wow. It's pretty late over there, isn't it? Is there a time to move from 5820K at 4.7 gigahertz, or just wait? Just bored and want something new? Well, if you're bored, then now's the time. So, I mean, going back, this is an answer that I give seemingly almost every live stream. People who ask me, should I buy this or should I wait? And if you have a need and the means, buy. Like, there's always going to be something new. There's always going to be something next. Doesn't matter what you wait for, there will be something coming after that. So 5820K at 4.7, I never got mine that high. I think that I topped out at like 4.6, and then my normal daily overclock was like 4.4. So that's a That's like a golden chip you got there. So I mean, and it's 6 core 12 thread. It's probably still kicking ass. I wouldn't really worry about it. You're not going to gain very much by moving up at this point unless you're moving to like a lot more cores, like unless you're moving up to like a 7900X or better. But at this point, that seems like a good chip. I wouldn't worry about it unless you really want to, and then go ahead. There's no point in holding off. If you feel like you should, just go ahead. Meatball Sub, do you think Intel's 9th gen 8 core will outperform Ryzen's 8 core? I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say yes, but there's so little out there on that right now that there's no way that I could say definitively one way or another. If you just think about it, like the 8700K comes pretty damn close to the 2700X in basically everything, and still wipes the floor with it in gaming. If you add 2 more cores to that and they keep the IPC the same and they keep the clock speeds comparable, it'd probably be a more powerful chip. N-Source Joey, I asked the wife about making AIO sleeving. She said no. Wives do that sometimes. I ask my wife lots of stuff and she tells me no all the time. Brian Lefebvre says white build looks tight. Thanks, man. Hey, how do I get a company to sponsor my build? I'm not really going to go into that. You just need to contact them. You need to show, well, maybe I'll go into it a little bit. You need to show them value. You need to show them what's called ROI, or return on investment. They're not just going to send you stuff because you ask. You have to say, this is what I'm doing with it, and this is why it's good for you if you send me the components. You have to say, like, this is how many eyeballs are going to be on it. This is where it's going to be posted. This is how I'm going to get exposure for you and your brand. If there's no ROI on it for the company, there's no reason for them to send you parts. Sourced, happy wife, happy life. You know what they say. It is a never has a truer statement been uttered. Shadowband says, can you turn your mic up a bit, please? I can turn my mic up a bit. Let me turn this up a little bit. Is that, hold on. Okay, so now I'm in the, oh geez, no, now I'm in the yellow. Is that better? Tell me, guys, if this sounds better to you guys. Manic Geek says, I need a new AIO before I sleeve one. Still rocking an H100 IV1. Don't know how much more the pump has in it. Yeah, that's really, I guess, the only problem there would be with that unit. Otherwise, cooling capacity wise, that thing's still a monster. Got a couple more super chats that I missed. With no comment. Michael Carter, $2. Nathaniel Fox, $2. Thank you guys so much for the donations. Okay. Have you seen the new blue Compass mic arm? Looks really awesome. No, I haven't. I have this Heil, and I've been really, really happy with it. I had like a really basic, kind of crappy, newer arm before this, and it was one of the ones with like, I don't know how much of this you guys can see, but like it had like the springs on the outside of the arm, so they always get like caught in stuff, and caught on things as I was moving it around, and it like creaked as I moved it, and it wasn't, I mean, it was pretty sturdy, but it wasn't nearly as sturdy as this. This has the springs on the inside of the arms. It supports this sound isolator, which is crazy heavy and large, and it's bigger, and it arcs. I have it coming over my monitor, so it's just a much more convenient situation, and I've been really happy with this. I would recommend this arm to anybody looking for an arm, but I have not seen the blue Compass mic arm. I'm not looking to upgrade, but I mean, maybe for the future or something like that, I'll check it out. Okay. Jacob Hall, I'm building a water-cooled rig. Do you have pointers? Yeah. I'm sure I have a lot of pointers. There's a lot to know. Just watch videos, man. Watch how-tos. I'm planning on doing water cooling for beginners. When is that supposed to come out? In May. At some point in May. I have it on the calendar for. So I'll try to go over a lot of beginner stuff then. How to build it, how to go about it, what parts to choose, stuff like that. So maybe hold out for that if you can. But yeah, I mean, I can't really just pointers over in general. It's not really something I could get into right now. I did. Um, Kyle and I did a collab where I was kind of a guest on one of his videos when he was doing his elite build, and I put a couple of like water. I think it was like 5 different water cooling basics in that video for him. So maybe that's what you're looking for. Maybe go check out that video. His elite build part 2, I think, or it's part 2 or part 3 of his elite build from late 2017. I forget the exact date. Academy Soccer. Would you recommend the EK Phoenix as opposed to other 360mm AIOs just for the ability to water cool your graphics card down the road if you don't buy the block to begin with? Sure, I reviewed that. That is literally the absolute hands down best performing AIO I have ever tested, but it is ridiculously expensive. The setup that I had was like $500. So be aware that you're getting into open loop territory, pricing territory for with the convenience of an AIO and the cooling of open loop. So it's pricey, but it's worth it. It's real expensive and it cools like crazy. So if you can afford it, I would recommend it. Michael Carter, do you save all of your component boxes after you finish the build? Yeah, you should see my office. I have no room in here anymore. I don't know. I did an office tour a couple months ago and I have more stuff now than I did then. But I just have basically this entire wall is just boxes of stuff. So yeah, I save all the boxes. I hate when I'm like, because I buy some stuff secondhand sometime if I don't have something and I need it, and I don't necessarily need it new. And I hate when people are like, oh, I just have the motherboard without the box. Well, I don't really want to buy that. So I keep everything in the event that I need to return something, or if I'm going to sell it or give it away or something, I keep everything. Manic says, I only sprayed for one mod I ever did because black and gold was a tough color combo to come by at the time for Total System. So the thing is, I understand spray painting something for personal use, but for somebody like me who's like building systems all the time and just building them to see how they perform and show them off and stuff like that, and then disassembling them after, it doesn't make any sense to do the spray painting thing. But if it was my own personal system, sure, I would be much more into it. All right. Domingo, what's up, man? Carolina Custom PCs, how's your loop with Primo Chill View? Currently looking to use View in a new build. So I talked about this in the last live stream too. I'm still rocking the View in this build right here. Primo Chill is going to be sending me over their new system prep, and they're also sending me some regular opaque coolant. They're sending me like red opaque, the Razor Red that I have here, but just in opaque, not in View, and they're sending me a silver, just opaque. So I'm going to replace the same shade, same colors I have with just regular opaque coolant, and so I'm going to hopefully alleviate any potential problems with the View that could pop up down the road. For now, I think we're good. It's not giving me any problems. The temperatures are still outstanding, so I'm not really worried. I think short-term View is fine. Long-term, if this is a system that you're building for everyday use, for 24/7 use, View is more of a show coolant, so I would probably shy away from it. Hixian says Trident Z or Dominator. I mean, I don't know. Depends what you like. That's personal preference there. If you're looking at the same speed, right? I mean, memory. There's very little difference in memory performance when it comes to if you have the same speed DIMMs. I mean, sometimes I prefer the look of the Dominators. Like Corsair just came out with the special edition. They're like black and white. I forget what they're calling. I'm supposed to be getting some of those. We'll see. But those look really cool, but they don't light up. So if you want RGB stuff, you want some color accents and stuff like that, gotta go with the Trident Z. All right, Shaderade, what's up? Bro Tato. What's up, man? Glad you're on. I got Jay's 2 cents to cuss at me on live stream because I told him to stop talking about his car. Yeah, so I understand where he's coming from on that. So he's a car guy and like he likes cars. There's tech in cars. Um, and you know, so I know that he catches like a lot of flack when he posts car videos. From I guess from his core audience, from like his PC centric audience. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't mind posting some content because I post like audio gear and video gear content sometimes. Do you guys mind that? I actually wonder if there's ever a problem with that. But you know, he does it with his car, so I don't know. I like the car content. I'm kind of a car guy too, but I don't. You know, you probably won't see that on this channel. But I understand his frustration with a lot of people giving him that kind of feedback. That he's just like, man, I just want to do what I want to do. So, and he's the kind of guy that you know he could get pretty pissed off because he's just kind of like the typical no filter kind of guy. Um, Gustavo says, "Bro, can you review the Kraken X72?" I could, whether I will or not. I might. I haven't. I don't have any plans to, but I might. It's an Asetek 360, so it's going to perform very similarly to the Fractal Celsius S36 and other Asetek 360 units. So, but it looks different. It's got the mirror top and all. So, yeah, maybe. I can't pronounce your name, but it's something ideal. Hope you keep growing, man. Love your stuff. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who's out there watching and interacting and whatnot. Donald Harrison Jr. looking at doing a build on the 2700X using a 2560 by 1080 display and a second monitor that's 1080 144. I mainly will be using it for production and on the side gaming. What video card should I go with? Well, first of all, if you're doing production with it, I don't know if you mean video and or photo, but if so, those are the wrong monitors. You should be looking at like a 1440p or a 4K monitor. You should be looking at IPS panels. You shouldn't really worry about refresh rate. But on that aside, because I don't know what kind of production work you're into, what video card should I go with? Any modern video card will do fine with those. If you're looking to game at 144 hertz on that 1080p display, I mean you probably need a 1070 would probably be fine. Okay, Meatball Sub. Also, do you think Intel's next gen will offer 5 gigahertz max? There's no way to know that. I don't know. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, somebody who's a whole bunch of jumbly numbers and letters says, I can build an i7 8700 gaming PC cheaper than 8600K. I don't understand gamers' obsession with overclocking. It's anti-consumer and a cash grab by the PC companies. No, I don't agree with that. I don't know what the price is of an 8700 versus an 8600K, but the last time I checked, it was not less. In any event, I don't know where you live. Maybe the prices are that way, but regarding the second part of your statement, it's anti-consumer. I don't know why it would be anti-consumer to allow you to extract all the potential performance out of a product. If you buy an overclockable processor and you are not overclocking it, you're leaving performance on the table. It's free performance that you're not taking advantage of. I think it's actually good that they offer different levels of chip. People who don't want to overclock, have no interest in overclocking, just want something that works, won't overheat, don't have to worry about voltages, they buy the locked SKU for less. So people who want all the performance can do that. I think it's actually good. Okay. Mike Manic Geek says, sorry to be in here only a little bit. Just wanted to drop by. Dinner time. See you later, man. Brian Lefebvre, would an R5 2600 plus 1070 FE plus ASRock AB 350M plus 16... Oh, boy. Would it work well together? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Get Good Central says, is a Ryzen 5 1600 and a GTX 1060 gigabyte 666 gigabyte a good combo for my starter PC? That's an awesome starter PC. You'll have fun with it. Have you heard anything about the GTX 1180? I have heard probably what you have heard about the 1180. So I don't have any information that I could share right now. That's not to say that I have information. I know what you know. I don't have anything to add to the conversation. Okay. So Amazon discounted the 1950X by $280. I saw that. That is an amazing deal. It's like $720 for a 1950X. If you're ever looking to get in to high-end desktop, to Threadripper, this is the time to do it. That is an amazing deal. Even if Threadripper 2 comes out, that is, I mean, you look at like the 1800X versus the 2700X. On my testing and basically everybody else's testing, it was a 6% jump, 6% increase, and it was mainly due to clock speeds. I mean, if the 1950X stays that low and the 2950X, whatever they end up calling it, is 6% faster for $1,000, it's a no-brainer. Just buy the 1950X. It's an awesome chip. I'm using it right now. I did not think I'd be this happy with this processor. This is an amazing system, and it's awesome for video editing. Tim says, is my 2400 megahertz RAM holding back my 7900X? Use my old kit because RAM is so expensive right now, but I feel like it's holding me back. P.S. Kyle and Paul tore my rig apart on awesome hardware last night. Oh, well, good for you, I guess. So it's holding it back. I mean, you're always going to get more performance with faster memory, but it's definitely much more of an issue with the AMD and Ryzen platform and Threadripper than on Intel's side. You don't get quite the performance bump, but you do get more. You definitely see some advantages. So, I mean, if you can afford faster memory, maybe sell the old stuff. But I mean, at this point, I don't really think that you're not killing yourself here. It's not like, I doubt you'll see much of a difference, but there's definitely some. I think that you're probably fine. Okay. Wow, I've missed a lot. There's a lot of comments. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll to find out what I missed. Okay, Joey V says he says hoarding my ID Cooling Icemo 240 all white AIO. That thing is hard to find. Yeah, somebody mentioned that. Maybe it was you, I'm not sure, but somebody mentioned that in the comments section of my video today that I should have used that unit. I didn't even know that existed because that's not something you can find at really any retail outlet anywhere. You have to buy it on eBay, which is what I found out. So if I had known about that, I probably would have gone with it. It is completely white, which would have been really cool. But I mean, the Deep Cool unit was, that's readily available, so that's what I used. All right. Okay. Shaderade says, commenting about the cars. We don't mind at all. Just giving him S. I don't know if I can curse on here. I probably can, but I'm not gonna. And he blew up super quick. It was hilarious. Nothing but love for both of you. I've learned a lot from you guys. Good. Thank you. I'm glad. That's kind of what we're here for, right? PC Cold War, love your white build. How do those Animax fans work? They work pretty well. They're a little loud. So Animax has some really good cooling solutions. Their TB RGB fans are really, really good. Like, they are almost on the level of the ML fans from Corsair as far as silence and volume of air moved and static pressure. These were only they're like $9 per fan, so they're not super expensive. And I bought them because they were white with a white LED, not necessarily because of their performance. And they cooled fine. Like, I had you saw the temperatures of that system, but they are a little loud. So when I was filming the end the end of that video where I had the system running next to me and the camera shooting me, I actually had to angle my shotgun like kind of to the side of me so that it wouldn't pick up the fan noise over here, because they were a little louder than normal. All right, Dante's Inferno says, I'm having trouble deciding to go for RGB liquid cooling or high-end air cooling with RGB. So RGB either way. Never had experience with liquid cooling, and silence is very important to me. I worry about liquid sounds. Liquid sounds, that's generally your AIOs are going to be quieter than any air coolers. Pump noise happens, but it's pretty minimal unless you're doing like a custom loop. These D5s can when they ramp up, get pretty loud. So don't worry about liquid sounds. When you first start an AIO, you're going to hear like a whoosh as all the air is pushed through the loop, because there's always like a couple bubbles in there. But once it gets going, you don't hear it at all. The only thing you hear is the fans. And because there's such a large thermal dissipation surface in the radiator, the fans don't have to spin as fast, and generally they're much quieter than air coolers. So if you want a quieter experience, then AIO is the way to go. Okay. Donald Harrison. Okay, question about those displays from before. Yeah, it's just the displays I currently have video and photo editing. Yeah, I would definitely go with something that's a higher resolution if you have the budget for it. I think especially if you're doing photo editing, you thank me later. But I mean, if that's what you have and that's what you're going with, then that's fine. And that's usually the situation that most people are in. And they have, they're working with what they got. Okay. Kryptonic HD. I know I'm too much of a conformist since I bought a Ryzen 5 1600X and I feel like it's the best CPU out there, but I simply don't want to upgrade. Maybe I missed another comment from him, because that doesn't... Okay. I don't know if there's a question there. Let me know if there's something you need me to answer. Okay. People are talking to each other, not talking to me. I'm trying to sort through all these questions to find questions for me. Okay, Shadow 4 says, is a Core i7-8700K and a Gaming 7 with a GTX ROG Strix 1080 good for starting? Yeah, I mean, that's an awesome system. Most people would be happy with that. Doesn't really sound like a starter system, but I mean, if you got the budget for it, go for it. Nathaniel Fox. Hey, bud. Always a pleasure chatting. Yeah, absolutely. I'm running a Ryzen 5 1600X with 16 gigs of RAM, PNY 3200 Anarchy. I can't get my motherboard to reach 3200. It's more stable at 3130. Is this a flaw in the Ryzen 1600X? So it's since day one, memory compatibility has been the Achilles heel of Zen. So most people can't even go that high on first generation Ryzen. The highest that a lot of people can achieve on that platform is 2933. So if you could go higher than that, then that's excellent. I would check your motherboard BIOS and see if you can update the BIOS, because with each incremental update, there's more memory compatibility baked in. Also, you get microcode updates for the processors that could potentially help. But if you're getting 3130, which is a weird number for memory, then you're doing better than most. So it is a limitation of that platform. Dante's Inferno says, by the way, I think BPS Customs, which is me, went a tad overboard with Corsair. I know for a fact that they're as worried about quality as he is. Corsair should get a chance to rectify failings in their products. I am fairly certain you mean Cooler Master. And that's good. I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually wanted to talk about that. So, some people in the video comments had a similar reaction to you, that I was being too rough on them. I think the majority of people were saying that they appreciate the honesty. But I can understand where some people are coming from, that they think that my commentary was a little rough. And let me just say that Cooler Master, before that video went live, they saw the video. Like I was completely transparent with them as far as what my thoughts were on the product initially, what I wanted to do in a video after that, and then that I had done the video that I had done. And they were aware of every step of the process. They were made aware of what was going on and why. They never once said to me, "Don't make this video." Not one time. They said, "We would like the chance to respond." So actually today, this afternoon, or like as I was driving to meet my mom for dinner, I had a conference call with my Cooler Master product rep and two of their engineers from their cooling team, who worked on the coolers that I commented on in that video. And their tone was not, "You did something wrong." Their tone was apologetic. Their tone was, "We understand we have a problem with quality control at sometimes, and we're working to rectify it, and also working to provide additional information to consumers on the website as far as product compatibility, motherboard compatibility, how to work the lighting controllers, what these fans do," because they're new fans. And my response to them was, "That's excellent. There's nothing wrong with anything that you're saying. The problem is that a lot of this should have been considered before the release of the product. And it shouldn't be on the reviewers to point out all of the flaws. Like, it's definitely understandable and it's reasonable that reviewers might catch stuff that initially the manufacturers might not see, like functionality of a keyboard or something like that. Limitations in some kind of, whatever. However, it shouldn't be on the reviewers to catch everything. And my point to them was, I don't want to continuously get products and be the beta tester for your products. And they said, fair. That's a fair point. They were never anything. They were never confrontational. They were never argumentative. They were nothing but cordial and understanding. And all they wanted was a dialogue about how to fix things, what to make better, and what they can do to improve in the future. I think at this point, there's nothing else that I could have asked of them besides, maybe next time get me a functioning sample. That would be good. They asked me if I could take another look at specifically the AIO that they sent me, and I told them I'd be willing, if they wanted to send me another one, to look at it, but I'm not going to make them any promises on what I'm going to do with the content, because I already spent time looking at that and shot my B-roll and tried to do an evaluation of the product and really couldn't. So they said, "That's fine. We're going to send it to you. Take a look at it. Let us know what you think. If you want to use it in a build or something like that, that's fine." So there's a couple different ways to look at this. They're having some quality control issues. That much is apparent. They're working to fix it, and they admit their mistakes, and they understand that working with reviewers who can help them find these problems is kind of essential to their business model. So they are reasonable about it, and I appreciate that, and I'm going to continue to work with them, and they have no problem with me. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, they're never going to sample you again," and that's just not the case. So thank you, Cooler Master, for being honest and open with me. And thank you guys for watching that video and understanding where I was coming from as a reviewer. And I hope that you took something away from that video, besides that I like wine, which, again, some people really had a problem with my wine analogy, but I don't know, tough shit. That's my channel. I guess I cursed on the channel. Sorry about that. But anyway, so that's my thoughts on the Cooler Master situation. And what do you guys think? What did you guys think of that video? What do you guys think of their response to my video? I am interested. And let me actually, so there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't get to, but I did want to scroll down and see what you guys maybe are talking about. Okay. So, okay, so I'm an End73 said, what's funny is after I watched your Cooler Master video, I saw the flaws you picked out in the Newegg picks. Makes me not want to get anything Cooler Master or got any other good air cooler recommendations. Yeah, the Be Quiet stuff is unreal. The new the Dark Rock 4, Dark Rock Pro 4. I mean, like the Dark Rock Pro 4 is only like $80. So it is a monster air cooler. That's probably the best air cooler I've ever used. It's it's Noctua makes some amazing stuff too. Generally, they're pretty expensive also. I think the Be Quiet stuff looks better and it performs just as good. Okay. Dante's Inferno says, BP says, Cooler Master responded on our forum saying that you were right on all accounts and they're looking into it. They also said that they don't believe in golden samples to make it fair. So, yeah, so this is one of the reasons that I like working with them, despite the frustrations of the past couple weeks, is that they're a company that listens. Like, if you give them an opportunity to talk to you, then they will respond and they'll listen to you and they'll listen to feedback and they'll make it better. Like, it's the reason why there is an H500P mesh is because they listen to feedback. So I'm glad that they're listening and responding. What forums are you on, by the way? I'll take a look at that. PC Cold War says, I think there is always a way to work with people and seem you done good so far. Yeah, I try to be fair with people. Carpy's Mind says 8 generations in the wine industry. What? Send me some wine, man. I love wine. All right. Flippin' Fred's Free Form Factor says Cooler Master is pretty fair game. It's pretty fair game. Fair game in that they're fair game to talk about, I guess. Yes. I mean, they sent me the products, so I'm going to evaluate them, net positive or negative. Like, that's on me to decide. Guido Salducci says, I thought it was a great video. To be honest, it helps that you were able to show the shortcomings. That's what I was kind of hoping. That's what kind of I was going for. Like, I wanted to say, I didn't want to just come on and be like, this product sucks. I'm not going to do anything with it. I wanted to be like, look, these are the problems that I'm looking at. These are the problems that I'm facing and the issues that I've had with these coolers. If these aren't corrected, these are not good products. However, it seems like they're trying to work on things, so we'll see. All right, I'm gonna scroll back up. Hold on. I missed a super chat. PC Cold War. Thanks for sharing. $3. Thank you. $3 Canadian. Canadian. We don't accept Canadian. Actually, we accept everything. Okay. Okay, so Arcade My Soccer 20 says, I was curious if EK Phoenix leaks when you disconnect the quick disconnect tables to. It's actually remarkable how good those quick disconnects are. Like, they do not leak. Like, I literally unplugged them and plugged them like maybe 10, 20 times. I got a total of maybe a drop. Like, they don't leak. They're really, really good. Carpy's Mind says, evening and thank you. You're welcome. Cost aside, AIO for both CPU and GPU or custom water cooled. Cost aside, then do custom water cool. You're going to get a better result, and it's going to look better. Okay. Enermax used to make great power supplies. Not sure why they went away. They didn't go away. Enermax makes really good power supplies. Their Platinum-Max and their DF line are really good. Mark Gonzalez says, is the Asus Z370 Tough motherboard a good overclocking board to pair up with the Inwin 101 Tough Edition case? Well, so you don't really pair a motherboard with a case. I mean, you do build together with them, but you don't generally talk about it like that. You usually will say, is the motherboard a good pairing with a processor? Because that's really what you need to look at. I've personally never tested the Z370 Tough, so I can't comment on that specifically. But most Z370 boards are at least fairly capable at overclocking. So I'm going to say sure. But I mean, I would look into more specifics as far as the VRMs and whatnot, because that's really where you're going to get your limitations as far as clock speeds go. Guido Salducci says, "Sorry for chatting so much in your live stream. I like sharing my. I don't mind. Chat away, man. That's what we're here for." Joey V says, "Also for doing a white build, Corsair makes a sweet white power supply. The RMX series, yes. I looked into that, but the fact that I wanted Joey to do the cables meant that I didn't have to worry about the white sleeving, and the box itself is sitting under a power supply shroud, so I wasn't really all that worried. But yes, I did see that." Jeff M says, "I think your Cooler Master video was tough but fair. It's not like you blindsided them with it." Yeah, I do that with all vendors. If I'm ever going to say anything particularly negative, they know before you know. So it kind of helps maintain the relationship. It's not like I would ever say, "I'm going to say this thing. Do you not want me to say it?" I say, "I'm going to say this thing. I'm just letting you know," so that we could maybe open up a dialogue. Okay, I think I've looped back around here. Hold on. Okay. What do you believe the best game on the market is right now? It's not a question I can answer, really. That's kind of like, what do you like? I mean, I don't really particularly like MMORPGs, and you might. And, the best game on the market is personal preference. Let me make a recommendation. One of the coolest. So this is a game that I played whenever it first came out last year, maybe late 2016. It was called Super Hot. I still occasionally play it. I still think it's really cool, really innovative. It's from a first person shooter view, but the graphics are crazy. They're like people made. They're not real things. They're like people made out of crystal appearing. Just like the people are red and like the objects are all white, and and time doesn't move unless you move. So like you have somebody like coming at you with a baseball bat, but they don't move if you're not moving. So like you could just sit there and stare at them and try to figure out the best way to approach things. But as soon as you start to move, as soon as you start to like defend yourself or like pick your gun up or something, they come at you, they keep going. So time is based on you and your movement in the game, and you kind of have to beat a series of increasingly difficult scenarios. So I recommend Super Hot as the answer to your question. Okay. Be Quiet is dope stuff. It is. I really like Be Quiet stuff. All right, so your constructive criticism of Cooler Master was justified. I bought the H500P brand new, falling apart, scratched, and Cosmos C700P scratched, panels missing parts. One part was really sharp and cut my finger. Well, I mean, that's really unfortunate. I'm sorry you had that experience. I never checked out the C700P. That's not really my speed. But I hope that they took care of you. They seem to respond pretty well if you contact them and say you're having a problem. So I hope they took care of you. I heard Kraken coolers have longevity issues. I have not heard that. And they're based on the same pump that Corsair uses and Fractal uses and EVGA uses. So they shouldn't, unless there's something they're doing particularly like with their tubing or something like that. But I have not heard that. How do you feel about Intel poaching a lot of AMD team managers? I think that as long as they don't have a non-compete, then it is fair game. No, I mean, if people feel like they'd have a better professional career at Intel versus AMD, I wouldn't fault them for moving. Because if somebody offered me a better position, I think I mean, I guess I could jump too, although I like my job. Okay. MB67 says, I used to work in IT in the wine industry up in Napa. We were just in Napa this past year. Spent like a week up there. It was awesome. Guido Selducci again. I ended up with a Cooler Master Maker 6 and was drawn in by the customizability of the case, but the difficulty in acquiring those parts is very frustrating. Yeah, their online store is out of a lot of those, like, make it yours kind of parts. But so that line, the Master Case Maker 5T and the Master Case 6, those are like super high quality, very heavy, durable cases. Those are really is nothing like the H500P. They're completely different. And I definitely recommend those for sure. Sean McTavish says, can't lie, the RGB for the Kraken is sick. Yeah, the mirror top on the block is really cool. Perspective says that all white build was pretty sweet, man. Thank you, appreciate it. Sean McTavish, I have an i7 4770K GTX 1063 gig. Been thinking of upgrading to Kaby Lake or Coffee Lake. Is it worth upgrading? Or can I get another 72 months out of my current PC? 72 months? 72 months? You want another 5 years out of your PC? 6 years? You're not going to get 6 years out of that. So upgrade. Go with Coffee Lake over Kaby Lake. Okay. Mind you share about how cable management is done with a full slotted fan controller. I'm not sure what that means. I'm sorry. Hixian says, are you going to review the Lian Li PC-011 Dynamic? Yes, I am. Best game is subjective. Absolutely. Best game is definitely subjective. Easygoing says, thanks, man. Heard good things about Superhot. Yeah, check it out. It's only like $10 or $15 too on Steam. Nemesis says, I'm planning on building a custom desk PC case using wood glued together with wood glue and various standoffs glued and holes drilled out. I'm doing this because I'm a big fan of desk PCs, but their absurd price isn't inviting at all. Would this be a good idea? I'm only at the planning stage, but might start purchasing parts soon. I have the tools necessary to attempt such a project. Thanks. If you have the tools and the knowledge to do it and it's something that you want, then absolutely do it. You'll be incredibly satisfied with the end result. It's knowing that it's something that you did yourself with your own hands. And it's one of the reasons that I like doing DIY stuff around the house. I like, whatever I can fix, I like to fix or build or whatever. Despite the fact that my wife wouldn't let me build our shed. She insisted that we buy one. She also wouldn't let me pour the front walkway. It's really annoyed. I could pour concrete. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I can. I don't know. But in any event, I let me get back to your question. Absolutely, if you want to do it. However, I personally don't like desk PCs because of how often I change the system that is my main system. But that's me. That's a me problem. So if you're gonna have a system that's, if you buy new or newish components and you know that this is gonna last you 3-4 years, 5 years, whatever it is, and you want to build it, man, build it. I'm sure you'll be happy with it. The end. Building my first PC for streaming games and content creation, and I want to make sure I don't go too over the top. Again, I think maybe I missed some part of that question. What's a good motherboard that is Ryzen 24 AP? Oh, crap. Sorry, sometimes this chat just jumps. Got it. What's a good motherboard that is Ryzen 24 APU ready out of the box? So if you're gonna stick with the Ryzen APUs, then the B350 boards are perfectly decent. Just any so any of them can be 24 ready for the APUs as long as they say Ryzen 2000 series ready. I think Newegg has put a designation on their website showing that the BIOS has been updated as appropriate. Um, if you're worried about that and you're a little nervous about getting that kind of a board and making sure that it works right out of the box without updating the BIOS, then I guess you could step up to like an X470, but those are going to be a lot more expensive. So just look for something that has a little sticker that says Ryzen 2000 series ready on it. Geo Sam, how do you feel about people who ask for help with their PC and don't offer anything for helping them? So I guess it depends on what you mean by, like, are you talking about people online or people in my life, like my family? Um, I'm always willing to help friends and family as long as it's not going to take up like a day and a half of my time. I often do, troubleshooting or whatever else for people, and I don't ever expect anything from them at all because I know that it kind of everything always evens out. People do, especially like your good friends and your family, like you should be doing things for each other if you can. It's always good to help people out that you care for. People online ask me for help. I generally don't. I can't really help them from afar usually anyway. And a lot of times people are asking me for like diagnostic advice and stuff, and I don't have access to their system. And also, if I answered every single question, how do I fix this problem? I got a message on Facebook the other day from a guy who I guarantee just wanted help with his system, but he's said, I just built my first water cooling system and I'm getting blue screens. Help. That was literally the whole question. I didn't respond to him because that's just, I don't even know where to start. First of all, I can't spend all day answering those kinds of questions because I get a lot of them. And second of all, that's just such a general thing that I know nothing about the system. I know nothing about how he built his loop. I know nothing about the power that he's got. I don't even know why it blue screened. Like, I can't, that's not something I can help with, unfortunately. So if it's people generally online, I do not help them. I don't have the time to help everybody. I can't pick and choose who I'm helping. So it's not like I could help one person and not another. If I was going to help people, I'd help everybody. And I just don't have the time. But people in real life, yes, I help them all the time. JD Edgar says, how tall are you? I used to say that I was 6 feet tall, but I've come to learn that I am not 6 feet tall. I'm about 5'11" and a half. Okay. Can I install Windows? Can you install Windows on can I install Windows on a hard drive with Windows already? Can you install Windows on a storage device with Windows already, but a different version? It'll overwrite. Unless you have a separate partition. You could partition it, or you could do a dual boot situation. But if you have a hard drive and if you go to install Windows on it again, it'll just overwrite. Guido Saducci says, if you watch Rick and Morty, the concrete thing made me think of True Level. I do not watch Rick and Morty. I've heard very good things about Rick and Morty, but never got into it. My animation fix is satisfied by Archer. Archer is my dude. I was Archer for Halloween a couple years ago. It was pretty good. I carried around like a tumbler the whole time full of like I don't know, gin or something. Okay, I really wanted to build that Cryotech. I really want to build in that Cryotech Taku. That's a really sleek case. I'm not familiar with that one. Didn't AMD also have that program where they would send you a CPU so you could update the BIOS and you send it back? Yes, they do. They still have that going on. I don't know. I don't have the link offhand, but they will send you an older AMD CPU so you can update the BIOS on any newer motherboard so that you can use it with the 2000 series processors. So if you buy an older board and you discover that you can't use it with your new APU, you can contact AMD and they'll help you out. All right, so about a little more than an hour in here. Get your last questions and or donations in because I got to head out pretty soon. Okay. Mr. Colonel's 28. I'm set to build another system tomorrow for someone. I'm the guy who won that mean at 5 p.m. case from you. Oh, excellent. I hope you like it. I like that case. The fans are pretty cool, so I hope you're doing good with it. Okay. Okay, so Mikey D's says, "Hey BPS, have a question. When and if the new Nvidia cards are released, do you think they're going to run out of stock and skyrocket in price?" Um, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say no. Um, the GPU market has been coming way down back to earth. It's becoming very difficult to mine Ethereum on GPUs now, and as a result, that whole market is kind of quieted down quite a bit. The people who are dedicated to mining have the cards that they need, and then there's really not a lot of new people getting into it, so card stock is coming back to normal. And like just today, there was on Amazon, there was a 1070 Ti that was like regular price. It was like it was like an EVGA for the Win 3, for the Win 2 1070 Ti, which is a more expensive version. It was only like $500. So graphics card prices are starting to normalize. I think that you're just going to get your normal rush of new people buying the new cards when they come out. I don't think it's going to be a huge problem of supply, and I think the prices should be pretty good, especially the first wave of cards that come out. They're not going to come out and be really expensive. If they come out and sell out, perhaps some retailers may raise the prices a little bit, but I think initially, especially like if you're buying from Nvidia, the prices are always going to be the same no matter what. So no, I think you'll be good. Okay. Not sure. JD Edgar says, not sure if this was asked, but did Cooler Master ever address your video? Yeah, I actually talked about that quite a bit. If you just go back in the video to like halfway through, and I talked a lot about Cooler Master's response and what happened as a result of that video. It was good. It was good conversation. Windows 2000 Bug says, do you ever have issues calling a build finished? No, this is finished. Um, the systems that I use personally, like Baron, I finish. Like I have I have an idea that I execute and complete it. I may need to add things occasionally, like I may need to add more storage or something like that, but this loop is not going to change besides perhaps the coolant. I don't really think that there's something that I need to add to this. So I finish builds. The builds that I do for the channel, like the monthly builds and other things like that, there's often something about them that I had more time, I would have perhaps changed or added to. But those builds don't stay together, so I'm okay with that. And I think if I were to have more time to work on them, or if they were more permanent installations in my office for one function or another, I would finish them. So I don't have an issue with that. Perspective says, not a tech question, but what are you drinking? I usually order a white chocolate mocha with an extra shot. I used to drink white mochas all the time, and I discovered they're like 500 to 600 calories for a venti, so I don't drink those anymore. This is just cold. This is just cold brew, iced coffee. A lot of times at Starbucks, I get, if I want a hot drink, I'll get a flat white. But the cold brew is kind of my jam. Whenever it's even moderately warm, I get cold brews. Bitmain also released an Ethereum mining ASIC, so GPUs shouldn't stay profitable long enough to mess with that release too much. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Last couple questions. Question: do I need to format my M.2 boot drive to make it UEFI? Because currently it isn't. I think you're confusing your terms there. If you're doing a new install, you should format. I actually usually delete partitions, but I mean, you do what you want to do. I would probably format it. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Love your content. Keep up the fantastic work. Cheers. Cheers to you, sir. Guido Salducci. I'm a new subscriber like today. Oh, okay, great. Great live stream. Hope to see more of your content soon. I publish twice a week, so you will definitely be seeing more of my content soon. Steve Zimmerman says, how long are AIOs good for? Can I transfer them to a new build after a few years, or is it best to buy new? So AIOs generally have a life of 3 or 4 years. The thing that you worry about is the pump going bad. And the thing is, it's not like you can have an air cooler where like the fin stack will still function. If one of the fans dies, you still have some heat dissipation there. If a pump dies in AIO, your CPU is just gonna cook. So, and I mean, they're thermally protected. They'll just auto shut down. But at the same time, if a pump goes bad, you'll know it real quick. But yeah, if you have one that you've been using for a couple years, I would probably replace it if you're getting a new build. All right, so I think that's it. I think we're all done. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate all the conversation and talk. And like I've always said, I try to do these when I can. I don't always have the time. So I did 2 this week, which is unusual, I suppose. But I hope you guys enjoyed them. And save up those questions for the next time. And I guess see you guys later. Have a good weekend.